And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Pokemon Mystery Dungeons and Dragons, the Lanwell Chronicles, where Reniel apparently reproduces asexually.
That is a myth.
Anyways, I believe everyone except for Quill has done the recap, so Quill, give us the recap for the last
Yep.
session.
All right. So at the start of last session, Eugene was still kind of suspicious of a bunch of the ship members. Thought maybe they were still in cahoots with some of Leviathan's Claw, so he just kind of did a little bit of a stakeout and kept his eye on everyone. Granuel went to the captain and um, asked if Denna had been interrogated, and she had been. What we learned is that uh, the Leviathan's Claw Fringe group is run by a Drizzle, and he planned to attack us about a day away from the Trophanal Islands. After that, Renyel, Harold, and Sergi went to interrogate the Carvana. We asked him a bunch of questions, but all we really learned from him was that the Drizzle's name is Sheldon. They were trying to capture Eisen for a reward. That we were going to get interrogated from Blue Rock Island from the left side. After that, we interrogated Dana and Wombo comboed her with a Mind Sliver from Rinul and a command from Harold. I wanted to call him Henry. They're both yellow.
And they're
Um,
both Barts.
Coincidence? And we learned from her that they have a bunch of Swallows that are scouts. And we also discussed potentially shooting Renul out of a cannon, but ultimately decided not to do that. Um, Ultimately, we decided to try to lock the rudder in place, burn the sails with oil, and we do this by turning Sergi invisible, and we'd keep in communication with him through his magic seashells. Then something happened, and we all woke up the next morning and got into position and sent Sergi off. He masterfully hammered the rudder into place with his hammer and an iron thorn, but he had a little bit of difficulty making an oil trail, so he had to abandon that. He tried to climb up onto the sails, but he fell on his butt and made a thump noise, and everyone wanted to investigate it. So he took a different route and did manage to climb the sails, and he covered them in oil. After that, he got away and used his Wind Waker wand to push the ship forward, which ran over a couple of the Carvana. Um, the fight ensued, and at the end of it, Reniel ended up killing two of the pirates. And after that, we arrived at the Trophanal Islands.
You were. Oh, okay, there we are. You were a little longish with it, so give me a D4.
Well, excuse me. I took notes so that you wouldn't get something like on Friday night, but yeah, fine.
I mean, you managed to cover all the events, you were just a little, slow and methodical with it. Okay, anyways, so yeah, you, were called to the, deck, and you see that the islands are coming closer. As you do, the captain speaks to you all and he says, "Okay, so here's about what I imagine will happen once we dock on those islands. They'll likely send several guards to inspect the ship before we are allowed to let you guys off. He nods to Warren, who's sort of not looking at you guys, more looking towards the islands fearfully. He says, "Once we dock, we'll need you to do what your plan with Warren, and we'll have him hide somewhere in the ship and try and avoid being spotted."
Should you just let us off on a lifeboat?
I mean, we could. Though they
Would
do.
they need to inspect? Would they need to inspect the ship if they were to do that?
They technically wouldn't, but I imagine it'd be a bit easier for you guys if you didn't come hightailing it off the ship and over to us on a lifeboat. They might question what sort of contraband you or the ship would be carrying. Besides, aside from the pirates we've captured, we have nothing to hide. Well, aside from Warren as well.
Well, I don't think we have anything to hide, so if you just sent us out on a lifeboat, there wouldn't be any problem, right?
I'd raise suspicion for what could be on the ship, though.
But if the ship leaves right after,
then it would raise suspicion of us.
That is the point. If you don't mind the possible suspicion of you, I suppose we can just let you out on a lifeboat. But it will likely lead to the people of the island being suspicious of what might have happened on here and why you guys had to come in a lifeboat instead of on the ship.
well, our excuse can be we just don't want anyone else besides us setting foot on the island. And if they're suspicious of us, so be it. We haven't done anything.
Right. So just asking on a character, by the way, because our plan was what we gave Warren Radcliffe the other shell just as communication.
Yeah, you were gonna give them a shell as communication, and then Raniel is gonna make Warren invisible while they inspect the ship.
Right.
Whether we've done anything or not may not be the issue. If they suspect we have, that could make things more difficult for us.
Okay. Make him invisible.
Not yet. We're still about an hour away from we're still over an hour away from docking. You'll have to do it right as we dock.
All right, then.
So we'll dock, keep Warren invisible, and then what? We'll have the rest of the crew dock offshore,
Once
or will
you
anchor
guys
offshore?
are off and we're allowed to leave, we shall leave, and by that point in time, I believe your spell should have worn off. Is that correct?
Reniel nods.
For coming back, that's a bit trickier, but at that point in time, we could just have Warren remain safe on the mainland and then come to pick you up.
That works.
Very well. If you have any last minute things you wish to do, you may otherwise just pack your bags. The sooner you
You have a
guys are off the ship, the sooner we can leave.
Sergey's going to hand over one of the shells to Radcliffe.
Okay. Radcliffe takes it and he promises that he will return it to you once you guys return.
Right.
Okay, so you've got an hour. Obviously, you don't need a short rest. Is there anything in particular you want to do, or should we just off-screen you guys getting your bags and stuff?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Eugene's probably just going to the deck and very out of character, just kind of looking off of it to the to the blue sea. Maybe we could see the island by now.
Yeah, you
Kind
could
of
definitely
focus
see
on
the
that.
island by now.
Yeah.
You know, the islands, there's 3 of them. You notice that you're going towards the center one, which seems to have the largest sort of mountain in it.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond that, yeah, it's your typical tropical island fare. You see, like, your palm trees, there are a few forests, stuff like that. Anyways, so yeah, the hour passes by, and the boat eventually docks on a very small, very honestly not that well used dock in the island.
All right.
As it docks, Warren immediately goes up to you, Reniel, and looks at you expectantly, clearly freaking out.
Raniel just kind of puts his paw on the little red spot on his chest and he turns invisible.
Okay, you hear him say, "Thank you," and then he sort of runs off.
Mhm.
So, the ship lowers anchor, and you see coming from the island and a small village on the island, you see a procession of Pokémon. What you see is, first off, you see that there are about 6 Komodo, I think it is. Yeah, 6 Komodo, if that's how you pronounce it. I'm very terrible with it.
The
Como.
jingly jangly dragon man.
Yes, the large
dragon.
jingly jangly dragon man. And between them, you also see a Milotic, 2 Lycanroc, one midday, the other midnight, and a Golisopod, or Golisopod. You are going to learn that I'm terrible with pronouncing Pokemon's names in this.
Golisopod is in the big running away bug guy.
Yes, the one that one Team Skull guy is known for using.
All right.
Ah.
Anyways, the 4 of them wait at the edge of the docks while the Komodo all come over to the. Oh shoot! Yeah, okay. I'll have to fix that later. Anyways, the Komodo come over to the side where the ship is docked, and they go, "We're here to inspect the ship. Everyone will remain where they are, and this will be over quickly." The captain nods and he says, "Feel free. Cargo's in the bottom floor. Do note that we do have a few pirates currently locked up in the rooms. They are tied up because they assaulted our ship, but because they're tied up, they should prove no problem to you." And the Como nods and they walk into the ship.
All right. I'm just kind of like crossing my arms, kind of looking over to the island. And what is the? You just said it looks very just kind of trees and
Yeah,
thick, massive trees and
the
abandoned
island
village.
is a lot of it's a lot of wood and bark. They don't really make their houses out of stone. They mostly make it out of wood, bark. There may be some of the houses have some tree leaves. The village seems to be a bit smaller than what you're used to in Misty Gales, or in your case, what you're used to in Snow Sea, but a bit larger than like what you'd expect for like only a few people, or like a native tribal village.
All right, yeah. Kind of taking note of that.
Give me a perception check while you're sort of looking over towards the village.
All right. I believe it went up, I think. It's +7.
Oh.
11.
Nope.
Yeah.
You don't notice a thing. That first roll.
Yep. Oh, can I roll my die too, since technically
Oh,
a day pass?
right, yeah, sure, go ahead and roll your die.
All right. Oh, no, not. I don't want to at people. 19.
Oh, 19.
Nice.
Okay, but anyways, so about 10-20 minutes pass before eventually the Kumo all come up, and they say, "What is the meaning of this?" The captain looks over them and says, "What do you mean?" The Kumo responds, "There is a Delcatty corpse in one of the rooms."
That's when I kind of stop looking at the island, and I look over at Reniel.
Yeah, I think we can assume most of the party would have probably giving Reniel the stare.
Reniel's just standing there.
Yeah, I don't alert anyone, but I'm just. I look like I'm fuming. Like.
Okay. As they're doing this, and as you see that the captain and the crew are all looking surprised, but eventually you see Oda and Kaylin both step forward, and Kaylin says, "Oh, right. Sorry. All the excitement, we forgot to warn you all. Yes, that was one of the pirates. She was stabbed and killed at some point in time." "She was among the pirates?" Kaylin nods and says, "That is correct. We aren't entirely sure why or how it happened, but either way, it was likely either one of the pirates managed to break free and stab her, or something like that probably happened, but we haven't had a chance to bury her or do anything like that, so that is why she is there." And you can see that this is entirely new information for Radcliffe, and basically the rest of the crew are all just looking at Kalen and Oda, and Oda says, "Yeah, sorry about that. It's really hard to clean up a corpse. There's no real good place, and it felt wrong to dump her into the sea. I mean, I wanted to, but wasn't allowed to." So Kayla nods and says, "Apologize, Captain, for not informing you. It was something Oda informed me after the pirate attack, and since tensions were high, I decided not to mention it. Any error is mine." The Kumo look at each other and they say, "Are you certain she was a pirate?"
She was the one who led them here in the first place.
"Very well. I suppose what happens in combat happens, but we're gonna keep a close eye on the outsiders that come in. Understand?"
It's just the 4 of us. 5 of us.
"Yes. It won't be anything else involving with this crew. They'll only be picking us up afterwards."
There were
"Indeed."
simply arranged transports as we already said in our letter, of course, but it will just be us.
"Very well. The 5 of you who are disembarking, you may do so now. The rest of you may leave as soon as they're off."
Yeah, Harold's gonna get off the ship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Sergey.
Reniel follows them.
And Kaylin comes off as well. You see the procession of Kamo come off, and as soon as they come off, the anchor is hoisted, and the captain begins getting the crew all ready and prepared, and they begin sailing off. The Como say to you, "All right, the leaders will now speak with you. Understand your courtesies, and do not cause any trouble while you are here."
Crystal clear. And I look at Reniel again.
I would never dream of doing anything to cause trouble.
I imagined we'd be in a lot of trouble if that was the case, and I don't think anyone here wants to experience any trouble.
Very well. The Como sort of escort you to the 4 Pokemon you see. The Milotic steps forward and she says, "Alright, outsiders from the Freelance Guild, I wish for you to follow us." And they turn around and they begin ushering you into the village.
Alright.
Um,
I follow.
Okay.
Yep.
So, as you're walking through the village, everyone now give me a perception check.
oh boy. Where did the sheet go? There it is.
13.
Parser is apparently not taking any prisoners today.
Ah, goody.
Typical Renial perception.
I'm too busy thinking of blood. Okay, Harold and Sergey, as you walk through this town, you sort of notice a few oddities. The Pokemon in the village, like, they are outside and walking around, but you notice that they seem to be keeping a distance away from their fellow Pokemon. And, like, any transactions through, like, shops and stuff like that you see on the way are done really quick, and the Pokemon buying something takes their items and immediately backs away from the shopkeeper before moving on with their day. Things seem to be tense and everyone seems to be keeping their distance from each other.
Could just
They're
be
doing their
customs.
diligence in observing social distancing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Are they 6 feet apart?
I mean, they're a bit more than that, but...
And these seem like just the typical people that would be living here, and not. No one seems to be obviously outsiders except us.
You do not notice anyone that seems to be outsiders. They do all seem to be fairly tropically built Pokemon, i.e. they're from Hoenn or Alola. So, most of them do seem to be very tropically built Pokemon, so you don't see anybody who looks immediately obviously as an outsider.
Alright.
Anyways, you are taken by these 4 Pokemon to what appears to be a large, more ornately built building that, a large, more ornately built building. It has, in front of it, you see a statue of a large quadrupedal, sort of lavy metallic Pokemon, and a smaller watery Pokemon that looks very similar to what Warren looked like, only with slight differences. You're taken inside the building, and you see that this appears to be a sort of meeting hall. And the 4 of them leave you in the front while they walk up onto the sort of platform where they speak above you. And after walking to this platform, you see the Milotic speak. "Welcome, outsiders of the Freelance Guild, to our Tronfinal Islands. I imagine you understand that this is rather unusual, at least ever since your homeland of Lanwell went constantly warring. But despite the cold shoulder you will likely get, I hope you feel welcome nevertheless.
I nod. Graciously.
Now then, allow us to introduce ourselves before you introduce yourselves. My name is Mary. I am the leader of Senfor Island. The two lights and rocks next speak. The midday says, my name is Aza, and I am the day lead of Iliath Island. The midnight speaks, my name is Kane. I am the night leader of Iliath. And the Galissopod speaks, my name is Valian. I am the leader of Morwell Island. Now then, introduce yourselves.
Well.
Yeah, you go first. What was the other? Wait.
Post in chat.
Yeah, please in chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Notes. We need the notes.
Basically the names and where they're from.
Yeah, their names and where they're from. So there's a group of islands.
I got up like to Aza and Illith. That's as far as I got.
Okay.
I'll just wait for the notes because I don't want to like do an introduction while you're also typing, so that you have to focus on two things at once. There we go.
All right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Perfect. Right. Well, my name is Sergey. I'm part of this group you see here, all from the Freelance Guild. I was just motioning to the others.
I'm Harold, another member of the Freelance Guild.
I'm Eugene from Snow Sea, or well, I'm from the Freelance Guild, which is Aaron, and yeah.
I'm Renyel.
Doesn't explain anything else. Just
And Kaylin says, my name is Kaylin. I am an alchemist healer currently studying at the Freelance Guild, same as the rest of this group. At least
I was debating whether or not to say anything about being from Caldwell, but given that they're kind of the reason that communications here even dropped in the first place.
Valiant chuckles and he says, well, at least one of you knows how to introduce yourself with a bit of flair. But that is beside the point. In any case, Mary, if you would. Yes. So, as per the agreement, I believe you guys have something you wish to investigate here, and we have something that we ourselves wish for you to do. Are you aware of that agreement that your guild gave us?
I don't believe we were completely informed of what we were required to do for you, but I believe
we were simply informed that there will be a exchange.
Yeah.
There will be, yes. But before we begin, what exactly led you to decide to want to come here? After all, while they say that, while your guild says that they wish to reestablish communications, I've been led to be informed that you guys have your own wishes.
I looked at Kaylin.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Ren-
Let Caitlin explain.
Renuel actually floats red rock shard out of his mane and floats it up to the melodic and says,
We want to investigate these.
You wish, Kane says, you wish to look at a red rock.
Yes.
It's more
believe-
complicated than that.
We believe that this material is only found on this island.
You are correct, Kane. They are indeed correct. That is a igneous rock normally found within Senforth's volcano. I must tell you what you ask is quite difficult for us to allow. The volcano, there are two issues involved in you going to the volcano. First, the only ones allowed on the volcano normally are the priests of the Lord of Lava. Heatran's priests go there to sacrifice fruits and grains on the summer solstice festival, which is not in for another few months. The second complication is that there is also a mystery dungeon within there that you would like to need to go through in order to reach these red rocks.
Well, seeing as this rock is in our possession, the reason we're going to it is because it was found in Lanwell. So that means someone was in there and went to Lanwell with it. How do you think we're in possession of it? I mean, yeah.
Kane responds, I don't know, how are you in possession of it? Please enlighten us as to why you outsiders are in possession of a rock from here.
It was in a forest. Several of them, they were being used to control some of the Pokémon there.
Which is why we're here now, as it's a rather large cause of concern.
Interesting. And what's to say you guys didn't sneak here, take it, and then leave with it?
Why
And
would
you
we come
hear
back?
Asa cut him off and say basically exactly what you were about to say, Raniel. They came here investigating it, brother. I don't think they were responsible. Mary cuts in and says, this is a concern, certainly, though. As you've seen with Kane here, we cannot necessarily trust you on word alone. But that leads us to what we wish to have you do. Since you have walked through the village, I'm sure at least a few of you have noticed the going-ons here.
Everything
It
seems
doesn't
quite
seem
tense.
right.
It is, yes. For almost a year now, Pokemon on this island have suddenly and unexpectedly fallen into a feral rage and randomly attacked their fellow Pokemon. It lasts for about an hour when suddenly their senses return to them and they act as if nothing even happened. It's seemingly random, has affected Pokemon from all walks of life, those in power, those without, the lowliest farmer. Only us four it hasn't affected. Only us four, well, I don't want to say it hasn't affected anyone else, but us four have been unaffected, but the remainder of the island, it seems to be anyone, and anyone could possibly happen. We wish for you to investigate this. See what you can find out about the cause of this, and if possible, give us a cure or find a way of preventing this from happening again.
Well, with all due respect, we just told you about what we encountered in that forest and the effect of the red rocks, what they did.
Very similar.
It sounds very similar to what we had to deal with.
Kane says, do you have any proof aside from your own word and the similarity that has anything to do with what happened at your lands?
Well, no. But,
Then
I
we
suppose
cannot
we could-
allow outsiders to enter the volcano with no proof.
It would be very difficult to even prove in the first place by any simple means that, yes, other Pokemon went feral outside of things without bringing one here.
Calm, you guys.
But, okay, here's another question. You say you four were unaffected. Is there anything in common you carry on yourselves, or some sort of ritual you do?
Mary shakes her head and says, no. There is nothing in specific that I can think of. I mean, with Ozza and Kane, they are up at different points in time, night and day, but even then, that's not the same with myself or Valian. We don't really know for certain why we aren't affected.
Does there seem to be any sort of pattern as to when this incident occurs? Certain times of day, certain locations where people are in, anything like that?
It appears to be during the... It appears to be sometime around midday. We've seen it generally between 10 and 2. There are there are outliers, but those outliers are few and far between.
Anything in particular happen between that time frame? Is there anything that happens, like one of those volcanoes erupting, or...
The Lord of Fire would not allow the volcanoes to erupt without sending word to one of our priests.
Oh, okay.
No. The volcanoes remain dormant unless we are given prior warning. What Kane said is true. And as for the people themselves, well, they seem to act normally before it overtakes them. Though the odd part is, after they've been overtaken by it, as soon as they wake up, they lose basically all their memories of what happened that day. They can't remember waking up, going about, living normally in town. All their memories from when they went to sleep till when they woke up post-madness seem to be gone.
Could you perhaps give us the names and locations of the last 3 victims who were afflicted by this curse, or whatever it is?
We cannot give you the last 3, however, we have found 10 Pokémon that are willing to speak with you about their experiences. They are the only 10 who are willing to give their trust to outsiders and be interviewed about it. We can give you those names if you so wish.
Yeah, if we're going to solve this, anything helps.
Very well. We will hand you that list, and we will allow you to be set free and act as you see fit to solve this trouble. And if, and only if you can find a connection between this sickness and those red rocks that you presented, then we will allow you to go to the volcano despite not being priests, nor this being the summer solstice.
Is this something that's happening on all the Trophonil Islands or only this one?
All of them. If you wish to know the first location that it happened on, it happened in Ilaith first. In fact, the first victim himself is one of the Pokemon who does intend to speak with you.
Out of character, which island are we on now?
Send for. As for transportation between the islands, we have boats on the sides of the islands that will take you there. The Pokemon there have been informed that you are allowed to move freely between the islands, so long as you have not caused any trouble. Though beyond that, I must sadly inform you that you will not be allowed to stay at any of our inns, and likely the shopkeepers will not allow you to buy anything while you're here, at least until you have proven yourself. So, if this goes late into night, you will have to find your own way of retiring.
Could take more than one day. Not having access to any kind of amenities could seriously hinder our ability to solve this.
We don't deal with outsiders. Your money is pointless to us.
Don't worry, Harold. We brought our own food and we have tents.
Money may be pointless, but at least you're allowing us to help.
We only ask for your health. We only
Hell.
ask for your help because we have been deadlocked on this for a long time. I did not agree to this. Yet I did, Mary says. This is the reason why we decided to bring you here and potentially give good relations back to Lanwell. If you prove yourself here, it will go a long way to improving our relationships. And perhaps if you prove yourself, then our vendors will be willing to help you restock.
All right. Well, I guess
Right.
we should get to work. Said you could give us that list.
Yep. Okay, they hand you a list that I shall hand you as well as soon as I finish it because I completely forgot it.
Okay.
I did have the names, I just forgot to put it into a convenient list that doesn't have DM spoilers.
Ah,
Okay.
I will ask. Is it generally safe to camp out on the island?
There are there are the occasional thieves here, but so long as you remain alert, there should not be any trouble. And beyond the thieves, there is very little else that you have to worry about here. The rains might be bad, but if you find shelter in a cavern or something like that, then you need not worry. And you can always ask a rainseer if you wish to know whether it will rain tonight or not. And beyond that, really, all that's a worry is the heat. Do you have any other questions before we send you off?
No, I don't think so.
Are there any
Thank you.
other dungeons on these islands besides that volcano?
There's not. We have been blessed to be relatively free from Mystery Dungeon.
Except for the one in the volcano on this island.
Except for the one in the volcano. That is the only place that you should have any worry if you do on visiting. Beyond
Is that the mystery dungeon that leads back to Lanwell?
a mystery dungeon that leads to Lanwell?
Yes. We were informed that there is a mystery dungeon here that is a bridge between Lanwell and the Tropical Islands.
We are not aware of such mystery dungeon, Valiant says.
I see. We will let you know if we happen to come across it.
At the very least, most locations should be safe. We haven't had any reports of any of the villagers randomly disappearing. Though we cannot tell you where that mystery dungeon is, as we were not aware of it ourselves.
I'm just curious, is Quill quiet for anyone else?
Maybe a smidge, but not too much.
Is this any better?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe it's just the way I voice Renewal. I have to lower my voice volume a little bit to do it right.
Yeah. Anyways, one of the Kamo comes over and they give you this list of names. The one marked with an asterisk is the one that is the first one.
Brendan, beware.
Brendan, beware, you're in for a scare.
So we have to travel between islands then.
You may, yes. Once again, merely speak to the boat, merely speak to the ones who hold the boats on her ends, and they will take you between islands.
During my research, did I get generally a map of the of these islands, just kind of the layout, so
Yeah,
to generally know where we are?
yeah, you did.
Okay.
I mean, you imagine there might have been a change or two since,
Yeah.
but at the very least, you know exactly where all the villages are, you know where general landmarks are and stuff like that, and you've got the giant volcanoes around to sort of serve as landmarks as well, so I won't have you guys roll navigation or anything, you won't get lost.
All right.
All of these Pokemon should be in the villages, though, Asa, Kane, if you would. The Meowth known as Yoko is a criminal. She will be in Iliath's jail. The rest you'll find in the village. You are dismissed now. We will each be in our meeting rooms, building similar to this. So if you find any information, we will be here waiting for you. I'll be in this one, and the rest will be in similar buildings in the villages of their respective islands.
Thank you for your benevolence or generosity. Thank you.
You're welcome. Good luck.
And we're just kind of free to go.
Yeah. You see the Kamo are sort of ushering you out.
Yeah.
And you see that the leaders are also heading out. You hear Kane mumbling, "Finally I can get some sleep." But beyond that, you're sort of ushered out.
All right.
Alright. Do we want to check the Pokemon in Sandford before we head out to the other islands, or?
That was my plan.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, we probably should do that first while we're here.
All right. Kaylin says, because yes, she is still with you.
Yeah.
I can agree with that. Do you have anything in particular you want me to do during this, or shall I just follow along with you guys and only comment when needed?
We may
Perhaps.
want to split up for this.
I can
Yeah.
try and interview a few of them from a medical expertise at the very least.
Or maybe you could look at the local flora and fauna and see if you can make something out of it.
I mean, I suppose. I can't imagine the local flora and fauna have anything to do with that, especially if those red rocks are involved, but at the same time, I suppose I could potentially see if there's like any poisons that are being randomly distributed among their food or stuff like that.
Yeah, that was my idea.
Alright, I'll go do that. We should set up a meeting point though, so that way we don't end up separated and unable to meet together again.
All right. Are we like outside at this point?
Yeah, you're outside the building.
All right. I'll pull out my map. I pull out my magic map, and then I point to the dock where the ferry between the islands. I say we'll meet at the ferry, which is right here. At should we do it at sundown or earlier? Might take a while.
I'd say sundown sounds pretty good in my case.
Yeah, we can probably hit up more of the victims if we do it that way.
Okay, I believe I'll start by going to Morwell since I hear that's where most of the farmers are.
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave you guys to act as you please. If you happen to see me, we can exchange notes. Otherwise, we'll exchange notes once we come back. And with that, you see Kaylin walk over to the docks where she speaks with with an Armaldo who ferries her across to the island to the south.
Right. And when she turns around, when she like leaves, I turn around to Renyel and say, "Listen to me. You won't do something like that again."
I make no promises.
This is like when I'm like turning away and I stop when he says that. Do you think this is just about you?
Of course not.
Do you think every enemy encounter are just sacks of meat for you to slay?
Of course not.
Then what do you think, Renyel?
I think it was better for those pirates to die so that they could not harm anyone else.
They were retreating, and one was tied up. I know you did that, Renyel. They have their own lives, their own problems. Some are stuck in positions in bad situations they don't want to be in. Believe me, I know all too well about that. And they have their own bonds with friends, lovers, and even children. And what if they find out what you did to them, Renyel? What if they want to find the monster responsible for doing something horrible to someone they loved? And what if they come after you, and in turn come after us?
You are letting your emotions get in the way, Eugene.
Perhaps this argument would help. We were still in the middle of battle, which meant that we had other, more pressing matters to attend to. Taking your attention away from the fight And I noticed that spell you used. That's not one that you can just use over and over again. To waste your resources on an enemy that's no longer a concern when you may need to protect allies is a bit irresponsible, perhaps.
I find it irresponsible to let them go and regroup. If they regroup, they can bring reinforcements. If they are dead, they cannot do such things.
Did you listen to what I just said? They'll send more after us if you just kill everyone. You think that'll solve everything, just killing everyone?
Once the pirate group is dealt with, probably.
I know the world isn't innocent, and there are times when battles are life or death, but that wasn't one of them. I know how frivolous you say goals are, but I have two right now. I'll give a second chance to anyone I have an opportunity to give one to, even as soft as you may think I am for that. This world and Caldwell, Charon, and Ledrith. They're also caught up in this damn tribalism, even this place, and not to give anyone else a chance outside of where they live. I thought maybe if I'm stuck in this guild, what little good I could do is be the one who will give them that chance. And my second and main goal at the moment is to protect this team from harm, and that includes potentially making unnecessary enemies for us because of reckless and callous actions, as Harold said.
Quite frankly, I came to the guild for the second chance, and I don't want to be making enemies by killing off people that could have been let live and end up deciding, oh, well, we lived. Perhaps that means that we'll learn our lesson and not come after them because we'll get our asses kicked a second time. Oh, you killed them. Now they have a goal. Now
Either
they want you dead.
Either that or they would be smart to not come after the Pokémon who killed their teammates. Perhaps that would also get them killed. If they were smart, they would simply leave, cut their losses, and go on with their lives before
When
having
you
to
kill
encounter...
someone, you become a monster in their eyes. They no longer see it as something just, oh, I'll be afraid of them. They want you dead for other reasons.
And it's not just the pirates, Reniel. It could be their brothers, their sisters, and revenge is a very toxic thing. And you could do very unthinkable and reckless things because of it.
Very well. If you are content to let criminals and murderers run free, I will try to honor that wish.
You're attempting to reframe the argument in your...
Listen, I'm not afraid of you, Reniel. Surprised?
No.
Because when I have my mind set on my goals or the task at hand, like the latter one I mentioned, this is where I'm going to pull out that water dagger. I'll do what I have to do.
Do you think I am afraid of you?
I'm going to point it at him and spin it around to the hilt. You'll probably need this for the volcano.
It just kind of floats over to his mane and goes inside of it.
Let's stop wasting time here.
So while you're doing this, by the way, you've got a bunch of random Pokemon in the town sort of giving you guys strange looks.
Ah.
We should split up to different islands. Would be the most efficient way to do this.
Who's going with who?
I'll go with Harold.
Then I will go with Sergei.
Right.
Does anyone object to that arrangement?
No.
Very well then.
Okay.
Let's go to. Do we plan to go to Iliath first because of that prisoner? Because I think we could probably do that first.
Okay, so Harold and Harold and Eugene, there we go. You want to go to Iliath first?
Unless you had some other plans.
I'm the
did not.
DM. I don't have any plans.
I was talking to Harold.
Oh, okay.
And perhaps, I'll let the two. Well, considering how Kaelin already went to Morwool, perhaps you two should stay here and learn what you can.
We will certainly try.
Okay. Alright. Then, as you're splitting up, I'll roll a d2. We'll say, one will be Sergey and Reniel's group, two will be Harold and Eugene's group, and we'll see who we start with.
Bum, 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 bum.
Yep, that's not.
Oh,
correct.
wrong dice notation.
Mm.
1.
Ah.
Okay, so Reniel and Sergey. Who are you looking for first?
Let's just go after the first one on the list. Let's go after Tybolt.
By the way, the water dagger is just a dagger, except it does water damage or cold damage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Surprised you gave it one.
I already have one.
Okay, so Tybolt, I won't have you guys roll. It's a small enough village, and you guys can probably find anyways. You eventually see him. He looks similar. Funny enough, he looks very similar to Eisen Sergey, but he's got sort of dark grayish or sort of ashy skin, and the skull has some markings on it. And you see him writing in a journal outside of what you assume to be his house.
Right. Excuse me there. Are you Tybolt?
He looks up and he says, you're... He looks to the two of you and he says, you're the outsiders that are coming, aren't you?
Right. I'm just part of the guild. Just trying to look around right now and figure out anything we can about this plague of madness that we're hearing about.
Alright, I'll try to help as much as I can. You'll have to forgive me, though. You see him writing into his journal, met an Eevee and a Mudkip outside of house, him talking with them. He writes that down and then he looks to you and says, okay, I'll help, though. I don't have any memories of the many times that it's happened to me.
So this has become a repeated experience. I see.
Yeah, according to what I've heard, I'm basically the one who ended up having it happen to most frequently.
How often does it occur?
To me, it's occurred 4 times. In general, I think it's been getting more and more frequent to a point where about 2 to 3 a week that.
It happens to you 2 to 3 times a week, or 2 to 3 instances of others?
2 to 3 instances of the others. It's only happened to me about.
No, you're back. You're back. Are you back?
Mate.
Okay, am I back now?
Oh,
Yes,
jeez.
I hear you.
Okay. Anyway, so he said, what was the last thing you heard from me?
He was just
He
looking
started
through his journal.
Looking through the journal. Yeah.
Okay, so he says, yeah, each time, basically, I went to bed in my house, fell asleep, and woke up the morning according to what I've written. I woke up in the morning, did various activities. I used to be a priest for the Lord of Fire, but after everything that's happened, I sort of left my post. I can't be a faithful priest if I'm stuck being mad. But anyways, I would either go to my duties or walk about the town, and then suddenly I just go insane. According to my friends, I'd attack indiscriminately, the guards would be called, they'd restrain me, and then after everything that happens, I just end up back to normal. And I don't remember what happens.
Where did you say you were when it occurred?
Anywhere. I'd be in the town, walking, chatting with Pokemon. I'd be preparing my sacred duties at I'd be preparing my sacred duties, or even sometimes when I'm just at home not doing anything, the madness would overtake me.
Do you experience any prodromes?
Prodromes?
Symptoms that happen before an outbreak of madness?
I don't believe so. Everything that's written in my journal says that I assumed everything was fine. It just suddenly overtakes me and I can't even remember what happened the day of. I just after.
Forgive my prodding, but I assume that these journals are an attempt to at least remember whatever would have happened on some of those days.
Yeah. Well, that and I don't know. It's happened so many times. I swear there are days where I just forget even without the madness happening. So, I've been
Did
taking
this occur before you started experiencing the madness, or is this forgetting of things happening since the madness began?
since. And I could just be paranoid, but I don't know, I feel like I occasionally just forget random things recently.
It would be good to know if maybe there are other Pokemon that have experienced these symptoms multiple times. Perhaps they've also ended up having days of forgotten things.
I've spoken with a friend who had it happen to him twice. He hasn't been experiencing anything like that so far, but that's really all I know.
Hmm.
Do you have any other questions for me? Do you know a way to
What?
fix this?
That's what we're trying to figure out.
When during the day did this occur?
He flips through his journal. One time it happened just before lunch. There's one time where it happened a bit after lunch. Yeah, it seems to be around just before lunch to just after lunch.
And that would be around the noon time?
Yeah.
Just like what was suggested. Oh, I don't think I have any other questions.
Renewal's thinking.
Do 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 do.
I cannot think of any presently. Would you be open to us returning to ask you more questions should any come up?
Yeah, sure. I'll be here with my journal.
Hang on, there's a specific word I'm looking for.
The English language fails us.
Yeah.
I'll give you a few more seconds and then I'm gonna move on.
Yeah. Oh well.
Thank you.
Okay, and you walk away. Alright, we will move on to Eugene and Harold. Oh, there you are. Okay. So, you guys meet the Armaldo ferryman. He, takes you over, and you are taken to Iliath. Design-wise, Iliath is slightly smaller than Sen 4, but otherwise it's very similar in terms of sort of how the town is laid out, stuff like that. You notice that it's a bit more hilly near the volcano as well, but that's beside the point. Anyways, what do you intend to do?
I think we'll look for Brendan first.
Oh yeah, he was the first one.
Right.
Okay. So, yeah, you search around and you eventually see Brendan appears to be, along with a bunch of other Pokemon, a few who are also Beware. You see a group of Beware who are currently working on a wooden statue of a Primarina. And this seems to be taking place in the town square. It's still being constructed, so it isn't fully complete, but they've got the basic shape and outline of it.
I'm gonna tell Harold. I think the basic way to do this is kind of go down the five senses, and maybe that'll lead us to something in terms of the question. I mean, if you can think of any other ones, but those are the kind of the basic ones I always start off with when doing stuff like this.
Not a bad idea.
Like, was he eating anything? If he heard anything? If he was touching anything?
Assuming he remembers.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can try that.
Okay. Anyways, as I said before, it's a number of muscly Pokemon, but you do see a few Beware who are also busy sort of working on the statue.
Harold will approach and, stopping a polite distance away. Excuse me, is one of you Brendan?
One of the Beware, well, all of them, the workers, stop and look to you, but one of the Beware nods and says, "Oh, that's me. You... Who are you?"
We're the Pokemon from Landwell.
Oh, thank goodness. Okay. Boss, I'll be a few minutes. Okay. And Brandon sort of lowers his stuff and he approaches you. Okay, you're here to interview me about what happened, right?
Indeed.
Okay, well, there's only so much I can tell you based on what I know, but basically it was days sort of like what you see here. I was carrying some wood from the Nightlight Forest the Nightlight Forest over yonder in Iliath, along with my crew, when suddenly I just apparently went into madness and used that plank of wood to sort of attack my fellow construction workers until they were able to take hold of me, and after an hour passed, I went back to normal. Of course, I don't remember any of that actually happening, but that's what I was told happened. When I became aware of myself, I was just suddenly held and kept down, and I couldn't remember anything that happened to me the previous day. Or, well, not the previous day, from the morning when I woke up till when I regained my senses.
Are any of the other workers that were there while you went berserk here?
Yeah, basically everyone here we've been working on this project for over a year now. Since a little bit before we started experiencing this madness stuff.
Can you maybe wave one that witnessed you do this come over too?
Alright, sure, if it'll help you. Hey, Bill! You see another Beware sort of sigh ask off from their boss, and they come over as well.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Just we're interviewing them about the plague besetting the Tronfinol Islands, and we kind of want you here just to kind of fill in the blanks of when he apparently lost his memory.
You know we're on the clock right now.
Oh,
Fine, let's get this over with. Alright, what do you want to know?
all right. Were did you two uh have lunch or eat anything around that time? I'm assume it happened between 10 and 2.
It was right before lunch, actually. We were
Okay.
gonna deliver some wood back over to the construction site that you see here. And then we were gonna eat and start building the base for this statue.
And you didn't eat anything, right, Brendan, prior to lunch?
I had a few berries for breakfast, I think, but beyond that, no.
And what kind of berries were those?
Uh, Orange, I believe.
Orange. And do they grow here, or did you just have them on you?
They came from Morwell. They tend to grow most of the food around here. There are a few farms over in Iliath, but Morwell's just. They have a lot more land because over here we've got the rough cliffs and then we've got the forest, so we don't have as much land for farms.
And where exactly were you when it happened? Asking Bill.
I was carrying my log right in front of him.
I mean, like, what location was it? Like, is it around here, or can you point it out for me?
Oh, we were. There's a path in between here and the Nightlight Forest. We were just leaving the forest. We weren't more than 5 minutes away from it when he suddenly clocked me in the back of the head with the wood. Sorry about that.
And did you guys hear anything before this happened? I'm asking both of you.
I couldn't tell you. I can't remember. But Bill
Anything
shakes his
suspicious?
head and he says, I didn't hear anything strange.
And he was holding on to a plank of wood, right?
We all were, yeah.
You all were. Um, do you know where the one he specifically was holding was?
Uh, the entrance of the forest. We haven't really gone too far in because we don't like to. Obviously, it would take a lot longer to take wood from further in, so we've been taking it from the closest point to where the village is.
And it's still there? The plank of wood you were using to use as a weapon?
Oh no, that's part of the
Yeah.
statue already.
All right.
We're not going to leave
Statue.
good wood just lying there.
Okay. Um,
Was there any sign of anything unusual before he attacked?
No. He acted. Brandon acted basically how he would any other day. There didn't seem to be anything off for him as far as I could tell. I was a little. I was a little cold that morning because our windows. I found out later that our windows were open, but beyond that, there was nothing really there.
old? I thought this place was hot and rainy.
Oh, a chill comes in during the nights if you leave your windows open, especially
Oh,
clear nights. Geez, why did you close your windows? I mean, I thought I did, but guess I didn't.
hmm.
Has this happened to you again since?
Nah, I'm not one of the unlucky people who've had that happen.
That has happened to some people.
Yeah, I hear one of our priests ended up having that happen to him. Poor guys, really. I can't imagine having to go through that over and over and over again.
And while this was happening, did did you believe any of your actions were what caused him to come to? And snap out of the red haze, I mean?
No, we, and by we I mean me and a bunch of the rest of the workers just hogtied him and held him down. And he just suddenly came to. We were discussing what we would do with him. Some of us were planning on calling the guards, but he just suddenly came to. It was about an hour after he went berserk.
And when you came to, did you have any weird sensations, or besides, being tied up?
I was sort of dizzy for a moment, but that was pretty much it.
Was there anything unusual? Some sort of red powder or anything on you?
Red powder? Uh, no, I don't believe so. Bill? Not that I saw.
Nothing, nothing strange has been going on with your workers. You probably have a very there's a pattern to your work days and whatnot. Has anything really disrupted that pattern?
A couple of the other boys have also ended up in this sickness, but beyond that, no. Work has been moving about as smoothly as we can make it, considering the paranoia and stuff like that.
Besides us, is there anybody who's recently come to the islands?
Don't believe so. Bill? No, I haven't seen nobody. At least nobody that looked obviously like outsiders. And we know everybody who's been here, so I haven't seen nobody.
Are those statues over there new?
The or talk about
Oh, what are they building right now?
they're building a statue of Primarina.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, is that new, or is it being like renovated, or?
Oh yeah, it's new. It's been worked on for the past year. So
Oh,
before we started a bit before this whole stuff before this stuff happened.
a year, huh?
So
Good.
that's about how long these incidents have been going on.
About 2 3 months 2 3 months before it. Yeah, that's about when construction started.
Hmm. May I ask why you're building this statue?
Oh yeah, certainly. This is a statue of Lady Venus. She was a Primarina who was basically a healer and inspirer for the islands in the era after the wars that we ended up getting dragged in because of, well, you know.
Yeah.
Anyways, her voice was so beautiful that even the Lord of the Sea would come out of his domain to listen to her.
Hmm.
Well, obviously, she died a long time ago, but we're building the statue to honor her.
Is there anything suspicious about the statue?
Um, Not that you can see. It looks just like a Primarina.
Yeah. Okay. This is where I wish I had detect magic.
Yeah, I was just thinking that.
Okay. Is there anything else you want to ask? I'd like to remind you, we would like to get back. The more we work, the
Yeah,
more we get paid.
yeah. I think I'm. I think I got all I needed. Unless
Same
my.
here.
We'll let you go. Thank you for your time.
Finally, Bill goes back and immediately begins working. And Brendan says, "All right, thank you. I hope you guys figure out what's happening here."
Yeah.
As well.
Okay. All right, let's move back on to Reniel and Sergey again.
Okay.
So, what are you going to do next now that you're done talking to Tybalt?
Find Laurel.
Okay. So, you look around and you see a red Oricorio sort of wandering the streets.
Okay. Reniel is going to approach this Oricorio and say,
Would you happen to be Laurel?
Oh, hello, Dorlin. Yeah, I'm Laurel. What you need? Oh, that was a terrible attempt at an accent. I'm not going to do that again.
We are investigating the occurrences of madness around the islands.
Uh,
And you are willing to speak with us about that?
yeah, I am. Don't like it, though. Ugh, it was certainly a thing.
All right.
So,
How many times has it occurred to you?
for me, only once. Thank goodness.
About what time did it happen?
It happened after lunch.
Matches up with what we've heard.
How long ago did it occur?
About 5 months for me? Yeah, 5 months.
Quite a while then.
What does your daily routine sound like?
Well, normally I'm a bit of a performer. I typically will, if I need money, I'll typically go into the square and do street performances, dancing, using my fiery feathers to sort of add some style to it, and I get some coin for food and stuff. Beyond that, during festival days, I'm also in charge of dancing and forming a dancing crew with my sisters in order to honor the Lord of Fire and the Lord of Water.
Have any of your sisters experienced this?
Yeah, one has. Spectre did. She lives in Iliath.
Were you with her when it happened?
Oh, no, we don't really talk with each other except for on festival days. So, I wasn't there when she went mad, and she wasn't there when I went mad.
About how long ago did it occur for her?
I believe it was. Oh boy, it was a bit longer for her. It was almost 10? Yeah, 10 months for her.
10 months. Out of curiosity, just how long has this been going on?
About a year, I believe.
Hmm.
What sort of things do you like to eat?
Uh, eat is an interesting question.
We're just trying to make sure we have all our bases covered. We want to know. Maybe all all the Pokemon afflicted have been eating something. We don't know.
Alright, I understand. I tend to prefer spicy berries like tomato.
The day that it happened to you, do you recall any deviations to your schedule?
Um, no specific deviations, no, though. There was one thing that was odd.
Do you go on?
Um, well, right now you can see I'm obviously red. We or
Yes.
we Oricorio change our appearance by certain nectar of certain flowers. Normally, I prefer to be in this Balia style, but the day I had to use some red nectar to turn into this because I was in Senses style in the morning. That's the style that my sister Spectra is normally, by the way.
And which did you say it was?
Sensu is what I was that morning.
I'm not familiar with Oricorio. Which kind is that?
Well, right now I'm fire flying, and if that happened, with that, I would be ghost flying.
Thank you.
Alright, anything else?
Where were
believe
you when it happened?
I was in this town square about to put on a performance.
I think we have asked that. Oh wait, no.
You asked what her schedule was, you didn't ask specifically where.
Right.
That's all I can think of right now.
I'm already getting ideas, but
Do you have anything to ask, Sergey?
I'm just trying to think to myself. Don't really have any questions, just attempting to see if I can figure out any connections.
Very well. We will let you go then, Laurel. We may try to seek you again if we have more questions.
Alright. I'll be around if you can find me.
Thank you for your time.
Okay. Oh, and I'll let you guys if you want to like chat amongst yourself without it being in the chat. If you guys want to use the party splits for that, I'll allow that.
Okay.
Ah, right.
Anyways, we will move back to Harold and Eugene.
I'll say, do you want to cross off Yoko next?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, are you familiar with good cop, bad cop? I mean, I usually do this with Reniel, but...
Somewhat. I was thinking of taking a more straightforward approach.
Oh, well, in my experience, captives are going to be very hostile towards us and not want to give us any information. They're going to insult us. We should make sure with the guard keep what we're allowed to do, so we don't do anything that might get us thrown off the island.
Right.
But yeah, I could well, we'll see how she is once we go in.
Right.
But we could probably expect her not to be very cooperative.
We'll see. It is in her own best interests after all.
All right. So, do we know where like the dungeon or jail is?
Uh, you don't know off the top of your hand, but it's pretty. It'd be pretty easy to find the large, dark, very let's not go here corner of the town, and you figure that's probably going to be where the prison is.
All right. I think that's it, Harold.
That kind of has jail written all over it.
Yeah, are there like any bars on it? Like, I guess they'd be wood.
You do see a sign in front of it that does say Iliath Jail.
Oh, okay. Well, there we go. Yeah, it's literally written on it.
Told ya.
Yeah. Okay, so I guess we'll head towards there and report to the like main desk or whoever's guard on guard duty there.
Okay. You walk in and you see a Gumshoes there. He looks to you and says, "Hmm, you must be the outsiders we've been told about."
Yeah, we've been getting that all day. Joke.
Alright. Binder and back. Last cell.
All right. So we know that is a prisoner, and we are obviously intending to interrogate. So what is the limit of what we can do? We're obviously not going to hurt her.
Then there you go. Don't
That's
hurt
it.
her. Don't mess with her mind using any magic or anything like that, and you're good.
Okay. So just our words then.
Hmm.
Okay. We walk in to the end of the cells.
Okay. So yeah, you walk in, you see the prison doesn't seem to be too crowded. There's only a handful of Pokemon there behind bars, though most of them give you as glare as you walk through, and you eventually walk to the end where you see a dark Meowth.
Is there a window in this cell?
In her cell? No.
Hmm.
Hello, Yoko.
Oh, I believe you two are the outsiders.
How did you know we were coming?
Uh, all the past victims of the little madness plague that's been traveling around have been told about it.
Hmm?
Even those of us in jail were asked whether we wanted to participate in your little interrogation or not.
Oh, we're not going to interrogate you. That's such a harsh word.
Uh,
Just asking some questions.
well, interrogate asking questions, that works for me because I have all the answers you guys need.
Hmm. Is that so?
Would be appreciated.
Yeah.
Alright, get me out of this jail cell and I'll get you everything you need to know.
Is that the catch?
Pretty much.
I'm afraid we're not in a position to do that.
Then I'm not in a position to give you any answers.
I don't know if you understand.
Listen, just because we can't get you. Well, okay, what did you do?
Uh, it's actually kind of funny. Uh, I'm nothing more than a petty thief. You can even ask old Tompkin back there. He's the guard captain. You probably saw him on your way there. Anyways, you can ask old Tompkin there. I'm nothing more than just a thief. Quick hands, have to get by on something.
Well, I don't think they were quick enough if you're in here.
Well, that's the funny thing. That madness had the unlucky thing to happen to me right when I was in the middle of my escape of a nice little heist. Real fancy diamond I stole, worth quite a lot, but right when I was leaving, nobody even noticed. I suddenly went berserk, ended up attacking, and they found in my bags the diamond, and there you go. I was
Trying
straight
to
up.
get away in the You were trying to get away in the middle of the day?
What? Have you never wanted to try a challenge?
By the way, I'm standing like an arm's reach away from the cell.
She's on the bed on the other side, so.
Okay, yeah, but still.
Yeah,
Don't
okay.
want
Yeah, she says, what? Have you never wanted to try a challenge? Stealing at night's too easy. Stealing at day, now that's where the fun is.
My friend plays a rogue.
Yeah.
No, never mind. Um, well, being being in prison for that is a tall order for us to get you out of here. Like, you have to understand that what you're asking for is a little unrealistic.
Maybe, maybe not. But to be honest, it was cheap that I
This,
managed to get caught when I did. Like, suddenly going berserk, going all mad, and then getting caught. How how embarrassing for a thief my stature. The competition isn't fair, and I was cheated out of my victory. So, I want to get out and go back to it. If they catch me legit, then I'd be more than happy to be behind these bars. But they didn't catch me legit.
sorry about that, my fire alarm.
Okay, I was about to ask. You did hear what I just said, right?
No, I did not.
Basically, she said that this whole thieving thing was basically a game for her, and she wants to get out because she was basically cheated and caught.
Okay. Well, I mean, if you help us, we could, lower the sentence, or perhaps is there a bail on your crime, or would you get just parole of some sort?
I don't think you guys are carrying around 500 gold.
You never know what we might find because we're going to the volcano and there could be all sorts of treasure there.
That's interesting, but I can't exactly let you guys off with just a promise.
Oh,
That's not how this works in the business. You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
We don't have a way of scratching yours, so I guess we're not getting anything, are we?
Apparently not. It's too bad. I do have all the information you want.
well, just to let you know, we're probably going to be your only lifeline, so maybe that promise is worth it because I promise to do everything in my power to get you out of here if you lead us in the right direction. And whether you believe me or not, you could take it or leave it. But I'll
Uh,
let you know I did give all of the money I made from a mission at the Freelance Guild to someone who helped us. And I'm willing to do the same for you if you help us.
roll persuasion.
Okay, come on. Well, I could totally just cheat this, but okay.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the problems with me giving you that dice.
Hey, all right, persuasion. It's just a flat d20. Yeah, it's a 19 now.
Oh my gosh. The dice takes no prisoners.
Yeah,
She's
I'll use it for 19.
okay. She says, all right. Let's do a little half and half then. I'll give you a bit of what I know, and then if you guys manage to get me out, I'll get you the rest then. I think that sounds fair.
Yeah, even if
On
you give.
paper, it does. Unfortunately, unless we have the whole solution, we're not in a position to help you at all.
He's right.
Bit
But,
of information or not, take it or leave it.
Like I said, I would be willing to go for part of it, but unfortunately, we can't help you without all of it. You think you're being clever holding this over our heads, but you're really only hurting yourself.
Sorry,
I think
boys, it's just how it is.
we
I
should
guess it
really give
is.
her a chance, Harold.
Fine.
Alright.
Yeah.
Here's what I could tell you. First off, you're on the right island.
We're on the right island. Iliath, you mean?
Yep. Second thing I could tell you, those of us locked up here, including me, none of us I haven't gone berserk since coming here, and none of these guys have gone berserk either since coming here, or if they were here before then they've never been berserk. And from what my contacts have told me, it's the same with the jails on the other two islands as well.
You think everyone in the jail has not gone berserk since going into jail?
Pretty much. Those of us in the jail seem to be, well, you would imagine we seem to be immune to it, but I don't think it's necessarily immunity.
You won't elaborate why we're on the right island?
Nope. That information comes with my release.
I'm gonna put 34 gold at the foot of her cell.
Oh
Does
boy,
this say otherwise?
you play very interestingly. Alright, alright. I can't deny a bit of money. She takes the gold and she says, okay, the Pokemon that go berserk, they're kidnapped.
I had a feeling.
They're taken away in the middle of the night. I can't say I know how or why, but they're taken away in the middle of the night and taken straight over here to this island.
And that includes you?
Yeah, sad to say that happened to me as well. A little contact, a little birdie told me that that's basically what's been happening.
Where are they taken to?
Uh, well, she looks at the gold and mumbles for a bit and she says, Nightlight Forest. I don't know where in Nightlight Forest, mind, but they're taken to Nightlight Forest.
Make an insight check on her.
Okay. Feel free.
Great.
Yeah, she seems fairly honest. She doesn't seem like she's hiding anything with that role that you can tell. So yeah, she seems like she's honest.
I'm going to say that's a pretty big breakthrough for us. And even though I gave that to you, I still intend to keep my end of the bargain.
That's quite nice of you. I look forward to getting out of this dingy cell. Good day, you two.
Yeah. Thank you.
Should you happen to have led us wrong, I will see to it you never get out of there.
Please. I have no reason to lead you astray.
Precisely.
Very well.
It's gonna turn and like march off without another word.
Yeah. Well, kind of smile a little and drop it as I turn around. Back to serious mode.
Okay. Alright. Then we will move back to Reniel and Sergey.
Alright.
All right.
We've just got one more to go, so we'll go with that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. so LR, you, yeah, you see him. You see him at a sort of training ground, sort of punching a substitute dummy.
Okay, Rainiel's gonna kind of walk up behind him and say,
Are you Alar?
Oh, hey, you're the outsiders, right?
Yes.
Alright, let's make this quick. Got a lot of training to do if I'm gonna make guard duty, so let's begin. Let's see, it's happened to me twice. Both times, I don't really remember what I did in the morning, but in the afternoon, I just suddenly came to. And yeah, that's about what I've got to tell you. Any questions?
Rainiel says,
That's really all you have for us?
I mean, that's all off the top of my head that I think is relevant, but that's why I asked if you have any questions for me.
Rainiel thinks about it and he's like,
Well, the only thing we have been asking everyone else, I guess it happened around lunch then?
Yep. In fact, got a bit of food on my face because it happened right before I was finished.
What were you eating?
Yeah, just bread. Well, honeyed bread, but bread.
Your schedule had not deviated from normal?
No, I was basically here training to make guard. You gotta really put some muscle in it if you wanna actually make it that far.
And it happened here, you said?
Yeah. Luckily, I went out of here apparently when I was berserk and was spotted by a couple of Pokemon, but luckily I snapped out of it before I caused too much harm. Suppose if it means anything, both times I didn't just stick around. I specifically left here and went searching for Pokemon to attack, which is certainly odd. Kinda hope they don't bring this up when they're marking me for guard duty.
Hmm. Very well.
Does it work to go find Pokemon? Interesting.
Any other questions you got for me?
Rainiel looks at Sergi.
He shakes his head, still failing to find the connection.
Well, in that case, we will leave you be.
Alright, good luck.
We're going to need it.
Okay, anyways,
Obviously, it feels like with the asking over on our end, since there's not much really to find by asking.
yeah, they managed to hit the quote-unquote golden ticket.
I mean, yeah, the other guys. It's just that with our line of questioning, it's sort of just nothing really is coming out of it in terms of like.
I mean, I would have asked if their windows were open, but Rainiel has no reason to be prompted to ask that.
Yeah.
So. Alright, let's move it along.
Okay, so now that you four, or no wait, I suppose you two haven't finished with the third person, or oh well, there's four people on Iliath.
Fourth.
All right, do you guys want to continue talking with the people on Iliath, or
The time saver part of me does, but the the character probably doesn't.
well, the character kind of takes hold, so
Yeah.
All right, who are you going to speak to next?
Spectra, I guess.
Okay. So, you two sort of look around and you eventually see a more fan shaped armed, sort of dark grayish Oricorio.
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Yeah, yeah, we're outsiders. We know.
Oh, okay, guess I don't need to mention that then.
Yeah. Hey, we've been getting it all day. You probably know why we're here, right?
Yeah, you want to talk about the madness that overtake took me?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure we got enough leads to it, but I'll ask where were you when it happened to you?
Uh, it's actually happened to me twice, but don't tell my sisters about that, okay?
Yeah, I won't.
You know, they worry about me a little too much. Anyways, the first time I was actually flying above the town. I sometimes like to go into the sky and sort of just take off and let my worries fall. But while I was in the sky, it suddenly overtook me and I landed and started attacking.
Hmm. And prior to that was your wherever you roost or sleep for the night was a window open or
Window open. Huh. She thinks about it for a second and she says, I didn't notice anything odd in my house that day, but suppose window might have been open.
Hmm, okay. And do you know anything about the Nightlight Forest?
Yeah, a bit. The flowers needed for me to be sent to Sile grow their wild, that's where they grow in wild. We Oricorio, if we want to change our forms, we usually use the ones that we have harvested and grown ourselves. But if I ever want to, if there ever is any need for wild ones, we'd go there for them. Otherwise, the forest itself it's kind of pretty in the dark. They're sort of the berries that grow there glow in the dark, so you've got this nice sort of starry overhead with all the berries, and it's easy to actually see even in the middle of the night.
I'm sure it is. Um, are there any caves or structures in that forest?
Not that I've seen, but I haven't been to that forest in a long time.
Hmm. Do you know anyone who could tell us a little bit more about the forest?
Uh, Beyond what I told you, there's really nothing else about it.
Hmm. Well, I'm just you say you don't know if there's any like particularly big caves or structures inside of it, and that's kind of what I want to know.
Yeah, well, none of us have like explored the entire thing. I don't think there's not really much reason to. It's just a forest.
You mean like no one goes in there?
Eh, not a lot, no. It used to back when we were with Lanwell. It used to be a bit of a touristy destination, but that hasn't happened for years, and all of us were used to the forest.
And
So,
outside and outsiders like us could just we could go in there freely if we wish to.
oh yeah, it's not protected or anything.
Mm.
We don't go there because we're used to the sights and sounds of the forest, but If you want to travel there, I mean, it's a tourist destination, so you may as well. Or at least it was.
Yeah, I think we will.
Alright,
One more question.
sure.
These rage incidents, to the best of your knowledge, does at least one happen every day?
Not every day, but usually about 2 or 3 Pokemon go a week. Go insane a week.
Do you happen to know if this is across all of Trophanel?
Yeah, it's 2 or 3 across Trophanel, not 2 or 3 per
You're
island.
right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Be careful, by the way. None happened today and none happened yesterday, so one might happen tomorrow. I hope
Thanks.
it's not me that it happens to.
I guess we will bid her farewell.
Okay. What do you want to do next?
Jean, I think we've got everything we need. We need to try to shut this down before it goes any further.
Sorry about that. Did you say anything to me, or was I addressed in any way?
Yes, you just were.
What'd you say again?
I think we've got everything we need. We need
Yes,
to try to shut this down.
yes, I'm pretty sure too. We should. I don't think we need to see the other person because got a pretty clear picture of what's going on here. But I look is there. Everyone's trying to keep distance, right?
Yes.
Um, I have a feeling it might be one of the leaders.
Possibly. They could also just. Harold looks around a little bit and then he casts a message. They might just be too high profile to abduct.
That too. Yeah. I nod back to him.
You actually can respond to
Oh,
message.
okay. Yeah. Yes, that might be it too. But the way everyone is kind of a suspect. I don't know these people.
And out loud, Harold says, let's go ahead and reunite with everybody else. I think we know
Yeah.
what our next plan of action is.
Yeah, I guess so. We go to the docks. I guess so. We go back to the other island to send for, and I guess we wait there.
Okay. Alright. I assume you two did not decide to take a trip to Raniel and Sergey. You did not just decide to take a trip to Morwell.
No.
No, because that was where Kalen was just gonna.
Okay. So yeah, well, time skip. Eventually the evening falls, and you all come together. Kalen says to you, "All right, I went through Morwell. I can at least confirm that none of the food grown there seems to be afflicted by any diseases or anything, so I don't think it's a poison in their food."
We
I
came up more or less empty.
I think Harold and I got the golden ticket. We know we have a good idea of what's happening.
What is it?
As far as we
Um,
can tell, Pokemon are being abducted from their homes in the middle of the night and taken to a forest on Iliath, then presumably put back in their homes. And sometime the next day, well, we all know what happens.
Huh. Interesting.
but it needs to be done regularly because a lot of the Pokemon in the jail haven't been afflicted by it again.
If they are being abducted, it is probably difficult to get someone out of a jail.
Mm-hmm.
It would explain why there's no real connection between which Pokemon have been afflicted.
Makes you wonder who or what would be doing it and how they're managing to do it.
Yeah, but that's what we're supposed to find out. And our next target is probably the Nightlight Forest in Iliath. I asked around, and apparently, not many Pokemon go in there. It was a tourist attraction back when Lanwell could come here, but otherwise, it seems like nobody goes in there besides the Orocorcro to change their forms.
What form do they take?
Sensu form.
Yeah.
Huh, interesting.
That corroborates with what Laurel said.
Huh?
He says that corroborates with what Laurel said. She was in the Sensu style before or when it happened.
I think that's what she said, right?
She said she was in the Sun style that morning, switched back to her normal style, and then it happened.
Yeah. Meaning,
Okay,
while she was
that's what I have. It's just written down weird.
Alright, so what are we gonna do? Are we just gonna wander into the forest? Or are we gonna try and stake out and see if someone comes? Or what are we gonna do?
Well, currently it's sunset.
Yeah.
there
Forest
is
is supposedly well lit even at night.
they said there's like a single pathway into it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Beware. I think for the time being we should stake out there by the entrance for a night or two. During the night.
Won't want to be too obvious about it.
Yeah.
Alright, so we find a good spot on the path to stake out, keep an eye on, see if anyone comes and go from the forest then.
Yeah. Or maybe just hide in the trees by the pathway.
That's an option too, yeah.
Any way to avoid being seen. Just don't want to be spotted if someone is kidnapping.
Mm-hmm.
Or well, you know.
Perhaps Renial and I could stake out there. He could turn invisible, and I could just use my natural ability to hide to conceal myself in the trees.
Renial nods.
Okay, then where would you want the rest of us to be?
Probably want to be farther along. It's just if we're all grouped together, there's more of a chance we're going to be caught by whoever's doing this, or they just won't do it. So, you probably want to stay near the town. We'll after nightfall, we'll stake out maybe an hour or two between us.
Okay.
You can actually, on second thought, you guys can make camp somewhere far away from the entrance. I bought in a little alarm system just in case someone sneaks up on us while we're camping. You can set that up. And I pull out like these sticks with like bells around them. You're just meant to like peg into the ground and just kind of go around the tent.
Okay. So you use that to alert us if something's happening?
Yeah. So well, it's a tripwire, basically. And the bells will go off if something trips it.
Okay. Sounds like a plan. We should probably start now.
Yeah. Okay, so we'll go to Iliath then, and go to the forest.
Okay, so yeah, you all head to Iliath, and you, thanks to the map you saw of the islands, you were able to easily navigate, and there's also a path there, so you're easily able to navigate, and you soon see the forest.
All right. So are there like when entering the forest, like the dense forest, is there like trees overhanging it?
Oh yeah, there's plenty of trees around the entrance to the forest.
All right. All right. So you guys probably want to get a little ways away from here. And I'll hand it off to I don't know, Sergey to set up this little alarm system and
All
the
right.
tent I have.
Alright, we'll be off.
Yeah. I point on the map and say, "What's the general location of where you think you'll set up camp, just so we know where to go?"
Kaylin looks and she says, there seems to be a nice hill to the east of here.
All right, and that's where we'll go if we don't find anything, or if we find something. Actually, should do you think we should tail the the perpetrators?
It's up to you.
Are you asking me?
I'm asking everyone.
It's up to you. Personally, what I'd like to do is confront them the moment we spot them, but I'll leave it up
Because
to your judgment.
my plan is to follow them to see where they go, and then we can plan an ambush next time.
Alright.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, I'll start climbing it, or I guess I'll maybe start helping Reniel climb a tree.
Yeah.
Or maybe you guys could assist in some way.
Okay, I guess bunch of rope and stuff to get a Rennial up a tree.
Yeah. Yeah, like swing it over a branch and then just hoist them up.
The mental image is very amusing.
Yeah.
Tie the rope around him and then just.
He's just kind of his limbs are just kind of dangling as that you pull him up.
Okay.
I'll use the old iron spike climb thing to get up to Spider-Man up.
Okay, you do so. And you are both in the trees, and everyone else will, you all will agree to move out towards where Kalen suggested making camp.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, the rest of you all go off and make camp. And soon enough, night falls.
I'll ask Reniel also to make a psychic link with me.
Oh,
I'll
and
do
of
that.
course, obviously going to set the tripwires and all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just figured I mentioned so that way it's not like, oh, we forgot to.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, so you guys get the tent set up. This time the tent only has one pole, yet somehow managed to stay up.
That's
Oh my gosh.
the running gag.
Well, next time there won't be any. It's just a blanket now.
A blanket miraculously staying in the shape of a tent.
Oh no.
Kaylin looks at that and she's like, how did you manage to get the tent up with only one pole?
Very carefully.
We may want to look into doing an exorcism on our campsites at some point.
I'm not familiar enough with exorcism to be able to help you with that, but you might just want to, yes.
I don't know how we continue to lose poles. We had 4 when we started.
Maybe it was a magic tent.
Raven gave you guys a magic tent confirmed.
Yeah. But it's like the most useless magic tent that just it's set up differently every
It's not
time.
even magic, it's cursed.
Yeah.
Anyways, so Reniel and Eugene, Reniel, you'll probably be going invisible, so Eugene, roll me stealth.
All right. Oh, come on. It's +9. You can't do this to me.
Parser
Uh,
always finds a way.
Parser found a way.
yeah. Okay, 16 is decent.
Okay. And Reniel, yeah, roll stealth at advantage since he'll be invisible.
I'll just roll 2d20. 17.
Okay. So you both feel decently stealthy and decently quiet as you're over the tree watching. And as you two are watching, time goes on and on and on. But eventually, you see something. A sort of portal appears off in the distance, and you see 3 Pokemon exit from the portal. You see a Kadabra, a Hypno, and you see behind them a Makahita who seems to be not altogether there.
Is he like in a daze following them?
Yeah,
You said it was a Hypno, a what?
Kadabra. And a Makahita is the one in the daze.
And they appear to be heading towards the forest.
Yes. After leaving the teleport circle, they seem to be heading towards the forest.
All right. So I'm gonna tell Reniel through our psychic link. We're gonna follow them.
All right.
All right. So we're gonna wait till they're in the forest, and then we are going to follow them.
Okay. So you sit there, you wait, and as they're passing under you, you hear a bit of their conversation. How much longer do we have to do this? This says the Hypno. The Kadabra says, shouldn't be too much longer now. Believe we'll have enough data soon. Good, I don't like this. I don't like having to throw the town into you-know-what, and all this just for a bit of data. You know why that we do this. It's the necessary evil. If we don't do it, you know what will happen. I know, I just... Better on them than someone from Lanwell. Fine. Let's just hurry. And they continue on into the forest.
Okay. And so it's lit in this forest because of the
Yeah. In fact, you can see as you go in the forest, there seems to be these berries that are giving a sort of ethereal bright light that allows you to pretty easily see.
Yeah. All right, let's go.
I will be right behind you.
Okay.
So we'll give them kind of like a wide berth, and then we'll begin following them.
Okay. Wide berth. Alright, then give me another stealth check, you two. Renial at advantage because invisibility.
19.
Nice.
29.
You two are like the freaking shadows as you follow them. You keep going, fairly far into the forest. You notice that definitely forest seems pretty calm, pretty quiet. There doesn't seem to be too many other beings around. There's just the fruit, and that's pretty much it. And you're eventually taken to this point where you see an altar made entirely of those red rocks.
Okay. By the way, I'm kind of like mapping shorthandedly mapping my way through the forest with my map just to get back to this place.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're led to this. They go to this altar entirely made of the red crystal that you're used to.
All
The
right.
Hypno waves its Hypno thing in front of the
Pendulum.
pendulum in front of the Makihita, and it walks towards the altar. The Kadabra brings out a spell book, and he appears to be activating some form of ritual. After about 10 minutes, the crystals all glow extremely brightly, and you don't see what happens, but well, the crystals glow so brightly that you can't see the Makihita inside it, but eventually the ritual ends, they dim down, and the Makihita looks normal, but still dazed, though it looks even more in a trance than it was already. The Hypno swings his pendulum again, the Makihita begins falling, and the two are turning around to take him outside.
All right. We will. I'll say, let's just hide for now and let them go.
Reniel nods, but obviously Eugene can't see this.
Yeah. Nod.
Nod.
Radial would say his what he's doing while invisible. Okay, give me another stealth check, you two.
17.
15.
Alright. You feel pretty well hidden. Eugene, you maybe not as confident in your hiding as Reniel is, but neither of them seem to react anyways as they pass by, and you see them continuing to take the Makihita back down the path of the forest.
What we're going to do is we're going to go back to the camp, tell them, and then warn the leaders about. And I take note of like what this Makuhita looks like, maybe some like scars or like some telltale signs to identify him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we're going to warn the leaders that that guy is going to go berserk, and they can maybe lock him up or something before anyone gets hurt.
My thoughts exactly.
All right. So we'll give it about, I don't know, 10 minutes, and then we'll make our way out of the forest. Me double checking the path that leads here on my map.
Okay, you do so.
Yeah. And then we'll scurry to the camp, making sure to step over the alarm.
Okay. So yeah, because you stepped over the alarm, you managed to get to the camp without waking anyone up.
Yeah. And how late is it?
It's not midnight yet, but it is a bit before midnight.
All right. So I'll wake everyone up in that case.
Okay, everyone, you are awoken by Eugene and Reniel.
Okay. Yeah, we've got our we've got our Pokemon.
You know who's doing this?
It was a Hypno and a Kadabra. They came through a portal and went into the forest to an altar made out of those red stones. They did some sort of ritual that activated the stones, and they brought them back out. They also mentioned that they're doing this for data and for the good of Lanwell.
This obviously implies that they are part of a larger group.
Does confirm it's more of these crystals.
But
So-
Oh, go on.
So if we are able to take the leaders to this altar and show it to them, that should be enough proof to grant us access to the volcano.
Yeah, perhaps.
That
No
and
way-
if we prevent any damage with this Pokemon.
But my plan was to prove our case is I took note of that Makuhita, so we could tell him he's going to berserk, and when he does, that should give us enough evidence that we know what we're doing.
We do not know where he is from. We should inform each of the leaders by lunchtime tomorrow, as that seems to be the general time when it occurs to all of them.
Yeah,
Perhaps before.
yeah, so we have to get up early. Ugh.
Getting up early is part of working in the guild. You get used to it. Why do you think we have that alarm system in the guild?
Yeah, so let's get some shut-eye and get up in 8 hours and do our thing.
Don't want to know what causes that alarm.
That's a secret. Kalen gives a bit of a giggle.
I have someone who burns an 8th level spell slot every morning.
Very unconventional.
Anyways, for the sake of time, I'll do a bit of expediting. So you all, wake up, you go to each of the leaders to warn them, and you eventually find out that this Makihita is from Senfor, actually, and around lunchtime, he had guards keeping a close eye on him, and around lunchtime, you were proven to correctly predict it. And after that is revealed, Mary says to you, well, I must admit, I'm impressed you were at least able to predict who it would happen to. What's going on?
So I'll basically relay everything except for they're doing it for the good of Lanwell.
Does that include what species they were?
No.
Okay.
Brynjol's
make
going
out-
to telepathically ask Eugene if he really thinks it's wise to leave out information.
It's for our own good.
If you say so.
I'm not technically lying, I'm just
Oh,
not
I am aware.
omitting.
So they're taken to this altar of the red crystals, huh?
Yes, it's in the Nightlight Forest.
Still don't know how much I want to trust you about that, but Mary cuts him off and she says, very well. I will go with you, and I will see these crystals for myself. If you are all correct, then that proves that these crystals have something to do with what's happening, and we will both give you our full trust, and we will allow you to explore the volcano.
I know I don't mean to impose anything, but you might want to demolish it or keep guard of it nightly if you once you do find it.
Oh, absolutely. We're not going to leave it there. But first I wish to see your proof.
Okay.
Alright. Kane, Azza, Westcott, be prepared to take action as soon as we come back. Very well. And they all agree. So you're going to take her to the forest?
Yeah, I'll use my map to navigate the way.
Okay. You all walk into the forest with Mary. It's a bit of a walk. Because it's day, you don't see the berries being bright or anything like that, unfortunately, so you don't get the nice ethereal sight. And you eventually reach the center where you see the altar of crystals.
That's it, right there. He had him stand up there, and
Oh, Lord of Fire and Lord of the Seas, preserve us. She slithers towards the altar, inspecting it, and Kaelin is also looking at it as well. Wow.
Raniel is also up there with them looking at it.
yeah.
Wow. I never would have. Kaelin says, wow, I knew what you guys were saying about the red crystal, but to see an entire altar created from it, these things must be inherently magical in nature.
Harold's bag starts vibrating. Kind of not sure what's going on. He kind of reaches in there and he pulls out this bundle that seems to be shaking a little bit. And he unwraps it and he pulls out this sword that is not really glowing, but the air around it is sort of shimmering.
I curiously look over at it, but not really asking about it.
He doesn't seem entirely sure what to make of this.
What do you got over there, Harold?
Just something from a friend.
Huh. Maybe you need to, I don't know, maybe you need to, like, communicate with it somehow?
I was thinking he should place it on the altar.
No.
I don't think anything should go on the altar right now.
Yeah.
Let's
I agree.
not try to do whatever.
It was a joke.
Though, this is actually really interesting timing, so get some luck points for that, Doc, because you're really good timing.
So
D6.
what do you- Okay.
Okay, you got 3 luck points. So, as it's vibrating and as all that is happening, you guys feel strange, violent shockwaves all around you. Harold, give me an Arcana check. Reniel, give me a History check.
Uh-oh.
$19.
I can't tell whose is whose. Oh, mine's the 5.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, Harold, you're kind of left in the dark. Reniel, this is really uncomfortably familiar for you. The feel, the look, even the change in atmosphere, it's almost exactly the same as the experiment.
All of Reniel's fur is kind of standing on end, and he's looking up, and he's looking around. Like
Going
he's looking
on?
at something.
I don't like this.
Reniel, what's happening?
Do you see any holes in the sky?
The sky, you look up, and you don't see a hole in the sky specifically, but what you see is this large darkness from the sky comes over and surrounds you all, and suddenly the trees are lit up as if you have suddenly been thrust into night. The atmosphere around you changes, and Harold, even without that Arcana check, you are aware that you have been suddenly thrown into a newly formed mystery dungeon. And that is where we will end it off.
Oh no.
So is Mary with us?
Yes.
The loader?
Yes,
I imagine. Oh.
Mary is with you in this newly formed mystery dungeon.
Oh my god, we gotta make sure she lives, otherwise.
Yeah.
Honestly, yep. So, next time, we'll see what just happened and see the aftermath of how these guys deal with it.
Like double-digit episodes. This is our second mystery dungeon.
Yes.
You know, it only took us 17 sessions to finally have another mystery dungeon.
Yeah.
Alright. I will see you guys next, or we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.